It's that time of the month where we're going to be going on good old Gumtree and also Facebook, and we're going to be hunting for some used PC parts. Hopefully we're going to get some good deals, but this month already I've picked up some RX 570s for 70 Aussie dollars a pop. That's about 50 USD. Joseph, he actually contacted me. He was from Sydney and he said, I've got all this stuff. I also got some 60 gigabyte SSDs for 10 Aussie a pop, which would be like under $8 US. I think it's $7 US. So that was already one epic deal that we've scored this month. And also there's another thing which we're going to touch on later, and that is the used PC parts market at this very point in time, especially where I live around. That's South East Queensland. I've been getting a lot of messages from either friends or just people about the market in general. And it's something that I've touched on in the past, but we're going to talk about it more in depth. But with that aside, let's go pull up some deals and see what we can find. So the first deal we're pulling up now is they're asking 650 Aussie dollars, and they say an i7 3700. So I'm guessing it's a 3770. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM and a GTX 980, although it does say 2 gigabytes. So maybe they misplaced it for a GTX 960. But regardless, we're going to give them a call and see if we can drop in an offer of 500 Aussie, which would really make this whole build worthwhile, especially if we repurposed it in a better case, cleaned it up, gave it some tech yes loving. Plus there might be some other goodies loaded in there, like a really good power supply, SSD hard drive. Who knows? Let's find out.
Hi, the person you have called. Hi, the person you have...
So he didn't answer his phone twice. I just sent him a message, also dropped him an offer on Gumtree for 500. So we'll update that later and see if he gets back to us. Next up here, we've got another PC. This one includes a 22-inch monitor. It's a 6600K Z170. Also got 8 gigabytes of RAM, SSD. They're asking 550 Aussie dollars. I'm going to drop in an offer of 400, as they do say, or nearest offer. Maybe someone else hasn't dropped in a solid offer yet. If we got this, we'd definitely replace that GTX 550 Ti and put in something else. So let's give it a shot.
The person you are calling... The person you are...
So it's the exact same as last time. We're just going to send them a message and drop in an offer on Gumtree, see if they'll get back to us. So the next potential deal we've got up here is a whole system again, but this one is missing the memory and also any SSDs or hard drives. However, they are asking 230 Aussie dollars for the system. I'm going to offer 170. The specs include a GTX 760, also an i5 Haswell, and also a H87 motherboard, and a cooler and a power supply, and a case as well. The case is decent too. So if we're able to get this deal, we'd take out that graphics card, sell it individually, then we could put in a better graphics card, RAM, and a hard drive, and we'd have a decent system on our hands.
6 1 4 6 1.
So we're now 3 for 3. We're going to drop in a text message and also a offer on Gumtree. The next list we've got up here is a little bit of an odd one. It's only $5 and it's a ATI 5770. So an old school card. It's got 1 gigabyte of VRAM. If I got this, it'd just be for the sole purpose of seeing what games it could play in 2018. And they live right around the corner, so definitely going to give this a try.
The person you are calling... The person you...
We are now on the longest running streak here on the channel for someone not picking up their phone. Next up now, we've got an Acer X3990 motherboard and i3 and 4 gigabytes of RAM and also a 500 gigabyte hard drive. But the thing about this is going for 70 Aussie dollars. I'm going to call them up, see if they'll take 50 Aussie dollars. And at this price, I guess it's worth the gamble, seeing as the CPU will also come with a cooler too. And the good thing about Acer OEMs is they're some of the best. They generally have the standard 24 pin. There's no problems with any errors when you boot it, as well as most of the time they don't have the secure boot feature enabled from the get-go, and even if they do, you can usually disable that to get graphics cards like GTX 750 Ti's, for example, to work on this board. So let's give it a ring. Hello?
up or press hash for more. 0.
There's another one. The last of the deals on Gumtree that we're pulling up now is an i7 2600 system. It's going for 260 Aussie dollars. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it's also got a 2 terabyte hard drive, which does raise the value a little bit, but I'm still going to come in with an offer of about $170. So it is quite a bit under the asking price, but since the case does look hideous, I'm guessing no one else has probably put any offers down. So if we got this deal, we could repurpose it very quickly and add a lot of value in no time.
Oh, hi, it's Peter here. Can't get to the phone.
Seriously, this is, I don't know, it's like going to the casino and betting on red and getting black like 6 times in a row. Wait, it's calling back. Spoke too soon. Hello, Brent speaking.
Yeah, hi, just missed your call.
Hey Peter, yeah, was this an ad on Gumtree for a i7 2600 system?
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, you've got 260 on there. What's the lowest you'd go? Are you negotiable at all, or?
Got out a bit, but it's what sort of money do you want to pay?
I mean, I got come pick it up for 170 cash if you're keen.
I'm just thinking if I sell it, you know, individually, bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's up to you, man. I mean, I can just come take it off your hands and then do what I do some magic with it and clean it all up and stuff and put it in a new case and all that stuff. So.
What about a couple of hundred? Would that do?
It's just it's a sandy ridge processor, you know.
Yeah.
They kind of, some people nowadays are sort of getting turned off them, but yeah, they're still alright. But
Oh, okay. Yeah, come and pick it up.
all right, 170.
Yeah, that'll
All right, mate. Do you want to text us your address and I'll come around and pick her up off you?
Okay.
All right, thanks, Pete.
Bye.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Okay. Okay.
That time around, we did play a little bit of a tactics. Instead of saying Sandy Bridge, we deliberately said Sandy Ridge. That means it's unimportant. There's actually a little bit of art to it with these deals. So now the last 2 deals we're pulling up here are on the Facebook Marketplace. And the first one is a Fractal Design R3. I really like these Fractal Design cases. They're only asking, I think, $70 for it. They've got an RGB 2700X Wraith Prism cooler for 25 Aussie. And then they've got a B350 as well for 50 bucks. So I'm gonna see if the 3 of these components mixed together, if they'll take maybe $120. They're asking $150 for the lot, but $120 would really make this a sweet deal. And then the next deal up is a 4790K. They're asking 180 Aussie. 150 flat would be a really good price for this CPU since it is in pretty high demand. The Haswell and onwards support all the latest stuff like the VR features that do lock out some of the older processors. So in terms of making a modern gaming PC, the 4790K still has it. So now we got a bit of an update, some good news and bad news. The first PC that we've dropped 500 Aussie on, I was actually texting the guy. He initially accepted the offer, but then he said it had a 2 gigabyte GTX 980. And I messaged him back, I said, there's no such thing as a 980 with 2 gigabytes of VRAM. So then he checked around and he said, oh, it's actually a 960. And I said, oh, okay, can you budge on the original $500 offer? And he came back and said no, so I just said, okay, man, sorry for wasting your time, and just moved along. That was for the Facebook Marketplace deals. The person with the i7 hasn't gone back to us, but good news with the Fractal Define R5 is that they've come back and said they'll sell the case and also a Wraith Prism cooler, which is a 2700X cooler, for 55 Aussie dollars pickup. So that's about 38 US dollars. That's a bargain. We're gonna go get that. But also the good PC that we dropped in $400 on, but it had a 550 Ti, they came back and said no. And then the last offer that came back and they said 220 was for the motherboard, the H87, the Haswell CPU, the case and power supply. So this is going to segue perfectly into what we're gonna talk about next. I guess we're gonna take a seat because there's been a lot of talk about prices and the whole used price performance. There've been people messaging me saying, hey man, Can you help me with builds? I'm losing money and stuff. So maybe it's time to sit down, relax, grab a cup of tea, and also we're going to talk about this whole used price performance gig a little bit more in depth, because lately, like I said just before, I've had people messaging me saying that they're just clearing out their stuff, they're losing money on builds, they tried to get into this, I guess with the purpose of making money, and then there's other people that message, I guess behind the scenes, saying that I'm responsible for destroying the used price performance market. And I certainly disagree with that, because at the end of the day, I'm not forcing you to go pay what you're paying for those used parts. What you're seeing in the deals hunts with me is straight discipline. Here's what I'm prepared to pay for that part. If it doesn't meet that amount, then I just simply don't buy the part. For instance, with that Haswell CPU and motherboard combo with the case and power supply, if I pay $220 for that and then I go overpay, so I'm already paying $40 more than what I would want to pay, and then I go pay more for 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory, and then I have to go buy a hard drive, SSD, and then a good graphics card. If I'm overpaying on every single step towards that final product, then A, we've got a PC that costs a lot more than I originally intended, and B, is not good value for money. So this is the whole purpose with, especially in a lot of the previous deal hunts, and especially over the last 6 months, I've noticed a lot of people are going out and paying asking price for these parts. And it's simply a rip-off at those asking prices. You're giving someone amazing money for something that they've used for either a year or a couple of years, and it could be on the way out at any time. You've got no warranty on it. So used price performance in itself, generally you want to be coming under half of what you would pay for new price performance. That's a general rule of thumb for me personally ever since I started doing it. If you come under, that's great. You're going to make a little bit of a profit when you flip your stuff. Even at 50%, you can then mark up to 60%, and that 10% is yours to keep. Now, in certain cases of this message where people are accusing me of making 5 times what I buy the stuff for, that's ridiculous. I don't make anywhere near that when I flip a PC. I'm lucky to make $100 here or there, and I'm happy to do that because it's a passion, it's a hobby, and I really enjoy doing this. Furthermore, when I first got into this gig, it was all about picking up PC parts that people otherwise thought were useless, and they'd chuck them in the bin or just get rid of them, and they maybe put it up for sale on Gumtree for $50, and they're like, okay, I'll try and get something for this. And little did they realize how good performance those parts still have. Nowadays, the market, especially in South East Queensland where I live, that's the Gold Coast, Brisbane, and Sunshine Coast, it's flooded. There's so many people now trying to sell gaming PCs, it's not funny. And so with that, extra competition means it's a buyer's market. And for those who are desperate to sell, they're going to be accepting lower offers and hence not making any money, and they may get frustrated, especially if they're not enjoying the process. Of course, for me personally, if something's not a deal, it's just not a deal. How have I attributed those prices to those parts? That's all a learning experience that's all stored up here. The more experience you have, the better you're going to get at quickly identifying what's a good price for a certain PC part and what's not. Just through experience. And unfortunately, I just can't teach you that through a video. I can show you what I do and how I do things, but ultimately a big part of doing these video series for the viewers is that they've enjoyed it and they continue to enjoy it, and they love watching me hunt for deals and then see what I can do afterwards with those parts and do a used price performance build. Lately, it has been getting dry and there's no real deals up for sale, so I'm not buying at all. I'm sort of just laying back because I refuse to buy used parts when they start to approach that barrier of not being good value for money. So what we're seeing now in this used market is certainly a shift from people paying for builds that people would otherwise want to chuck out and just get rid of, to now people paying certain rates for used parts. And so the market is now definitely saturated in terms of competition. There's more people out there trying to hunt for used parts, and I guess that's going to lead to frustrations, and who better than to try pin the blame on me? But when it comes down to it, guys, if you're doing this to make money, then you're not doing it for the right reasons. I'm doing this because I love doing it. I do this because I love making the content for the viewers who love watching it, and I'm not going to stop doing that. However, the irony is I'm not going to be getting many deals if there's a lot of people out there overpaying for used parts. But anyway, guys, if you're getting frustrated that you can't sell your used build, then just blame it on me, or you can blame it on Dadman, or in my case, sometimes I like to blame it on Yusuf.
Yeah, I'm the kid, just blame the market on me.
Actually, blame it on me.
Yeah, just blame it on me.
Blame it on me.
Actually, blame it on me.
Blame it on me.
It's now the next day, and I ended up picking up the PC on my way to see Rocket Jump Ninja, who's a good friend and also another YouTuber, and just hung out with another couple of friends, and the night just went away. But also the deal in Brisbane for the Fractal Define R5 and also the Wraith Prism, use of my video editor, he's going to pick that up because apparently it's right around the corner from where he lives. But let's take a look at this PC and see what is inside. So here it is here. It's a Dell. It's got the 2TB hard drive. It's got a random motherboard there and an i7-2600, 8 gig of RAM. So the possibilities with this PC are looking pretty good so far. I mean, we could put in an RX 570, change the power supply over, and then put in a cheap SSD, and we'd have one really good budget build. I'm not too sure about changing the case. If you guys think I should change the case over, spice it up a little bit, or just leave it as it is for maximum price performance, let us know in the comment section below. We've also got a GTX 970. We have a R9 380. So possibilities are endless. Let me know what you want to see in this, perhaps even that GTX 750 Ti, but I think with an i7-2600, it's really well rounded with an RX 570. I think that would be a really good balance, and especially since I got these cards for an absolute bargain, I think it would make for some of the best price performance. So this month's parts hunt, we didn't get a whole lot, but we still got successful, so there was still a couple of good deals to be had. A lot of people messaged me back just either rejecting the offers, or in the case of that other rig, it actually had a GTX 960 instead of a 980, which is a huge difference in numbers. But also on top of that, the 5770 deal, which I thought was a deal at $5, they messaged me back saying they wanted $40 for it. And I'm just thinking to myself, you can keep that card for $40. It is nowhere near worth $40. Like, actually $5 is a pretty fair price for something that old. And also the i7-4790K, that already sold to someone else, so. But also one of my usual contacts I go get PC parts off, he's actually on holidays at the moment, so I'll be seeing him hopefully next month. And next month's deals hunt will be in America, so stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed today's used price performance hustle, then be sure to hit that like button and let us know in the comment section below which is the better of the two deals, the PC that we got or the Fractal Define R5 and that Wraith Prism cooler. There's not much to choose from, but also let us know in the comments what you think of the current situation of used price performance parts. Love reading your thoughts and opinions as always, and I hope you have a happy new year, and I'll catch you in the next year. Peace out for now. Bye. And also 2018 was just the best year for the channel. Thanks so much for the support and watching the content, and I'll catch you next time. Mate, what are you hating on me for, man? I've only got 30 for New Year's, and that's got to get me going in a feed.
Give me the $30, Brian. I shall make better use of this than you would ever do. Give it to me now. Yeah, ha ha ha.
And also let us know in the comment section below what was your favorite deal or your favorite PC build or your favorite video coming out of the channel in 2018. And I hope each and every one of you have a really good New Year's, and I'll catch you in the next year. Peace out for now. Bye.